What are you doing?
What are you talking about? Just eating some cereal.
With the butter knife? That's not how you're supposed to eat cereal.
What?
You're supposed to use a spoon.
That's really old school thinking, son. Knives are the future.
Okay.
You know, I was planning to use my 340 Weatherby with this 220 grain bullet going 3,100 feet per second for elk in a week, but man, after checking out Rockslide and all the threads and the pictures, I think I've become a convert of the 223 with the 77 grain Sierra Match King bullet at 2,600 feet per second. Over a year ago, I did a podcast video with Hopeful Ballistics about the idea of using 223 Remington on elk, moose, and bear, and we both agreed that while it can do it, it's not a smart idea to do it, that there's just so many better tools for the job. A month after I posted the video, someone posted it onto Rockslide, and well, I got bombarded with comments saying I have no idea what I'm talking about. I surely didn't look at any of the pictures or look through all the threads on Rockslide. And to this day, a year and a half later, every few months, I get more people from the Rockslide community coming onto the video and telling me how stupid I am. So the question, did Rockslide community beat the Elmer Fudd out of me? Are match bullets in small caliber, small weight the wave of the future for hunting? Okay, let's just spoil this now. No, I will not be taking my 223 Remington elk hunting this year. I just don't think it's adequate. You could make an argument that, the bullet of choice that Rockslide loves is the 77 Sierra Match King. I don't think that's a great hunting bullet. Sierra also doesn't think it's a very good hunting bullet. But my biggest issue is not so much the bullet, it's the cartridge and the little bullet that you're shooting out of it. That's my big issue. The problem with the 223 Remington on very large big game, elk, moose, bear, you have no room for error. If you don't make that perfect shot placement, it's not going to go well for you. I understand you can say that for just about every other cartridge too, but it's really exaggerated when you're using a little 223 Remington. And just earlier today, I got this fun comment about how there was someone that took down a giraffe with a 6mm dasher with like a 115 grain bullet. And I guess my response is, okay, is that person stupid enough to try that on a rhinoceros or a water buffalo? But let's get back to North American game. I think for me, I use the bigger cartridges because I have a lot of respect for the animal. I don't want the animal to suffer a ton. So yeah, I overcompensate with the cartridge. Do I need a 340 Weatherby to kill an elk? Nope. But it sure is darn effective. Last October, I got an elk with this combo, the 300 Weatherby and a 200 grain AccuBond. It's going 3,100 feet per second. And I shot my elk. The bullet did pass through, and the elk died within seconds. It was a DRT situation. And I understand the counter argument for using a smaller cartridge. People aren't as flinch sensitive. I mean, it's obviously much easier to shoot a 223 Remington over a 300 Weatherby. But here's my counter argument. People just need to go to the range and practice. Not just at the bench. They also need to go out in the field and just shoot prone or standing. They need to practice with their cartridge. They need to get really good with it. I've been to the public range, guys, and I'm sorry to say this, but the groups that I see from other people are absolute garbage. I am kicking myself when I am shooting like 1.5-inch groups with some of the hand loads I'm trying. And, well, I look at other people and they're lucky if they're getting 1.5-inch groups. And no, that's not just with the FUD cartridges like 30-06 or 270. I've seen people shoot terrible groups with 6.5 Creedmoor and all others. Now, I don't want to make this a huge tangent about the bullet types for hunting, but let's quickly talk about it. There are arguments for using match type bullets like Berger or the ELDMs or ELDXs. And I understand those arguments. It's not how I feel, but yeah, I respectfully disagree. I don't think people that use match or cup and core bullets for elk and bigger are evil people or bad people. That's just not how I like my bullet to perform on those size of game. Depending on the cartridge, these are the two type of bullets I really like. You do need velocity for the bonded and the monolithic bullets to expand. So I would not recommend a 7mm 08 shooting a heavy mono bullet or a 308 shooting heavy mono bullet or a heavy bonded bullet. But for elk size game, I want penetration, I want 2 holes on the animal, and so these are the bullets I prefer. I got out the reloading books. Let's just check to see what kind of velocities you can get with a 77 grain bullet. We're first going to be looking at Nosler, and we're looking at a tops velocity of just under 2,700 feet per second. That's pretty slow, but maybe Nosler data is just off. Let's give Hornady a look. Okay, we're looking at the Hornady book, 75 grain, pretty close. 2,700 feet per second. For kicks and giggles, let's just entertain the idea of using the 223 Remington with the 77 grain Sierra Match King, and it has a G1 of 0.362, muzzle velocity of 2,600 feet per second, energy at the muzzle, and I know the rock slide guys don't believe in energy at all, but it's 1156. So for a lot of people, you're already well below what many people recommend. But let's really see the limitations on this bullet because, well, let's see how far we can take it. At 100 yards, it's going 2361, 954 foot-pounds. At 200 yards, you're now down to 2136 feet per second, 780 foot-pounds of energy. And 250 yards, you're barely above 2,000 feet per second and 703 foot-pounds of energy. So in order for this bullet that was never designed to expand for hunting, you're basically limited to 250 yards. I wonder if the guys actually adhere to that. I doubt it. As I showed in the beginning, can you do it? Can you shoot elk, moose, bear with a 223 Remington? Yeah. Does that make it good or ideal? No. You can eat cereal with a knife if you really want to. There's so much better ways to do it though.